Hi, it's Dallas here with Celesticity, and today I'm going to be showing you how to add a new product using the new product editor in your admin panel. So the first thing you want to do is to go onto the product section on the left hand menu and then click add new. Something to note as well is that if you have more advanced edit options in your admin panel, then the view will be a bit different for you, and we will have a separate training video on using our classic editor. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is put a name for the product. So you'll see that option right here, and we just want to type in our name. Okay, and once we have our name down, I put demo product. We can add the summary. So you just want to put like 1 to 2 short sentences about the product. Usually 1 is better, and this will be a quick summary of the product on any part of the page that isn't the actual product page itself. So let's add in a summary. So you see that we would have added in our summary here. Now something to note is that you can do some other additional editing. So for example, for super hot, we can put it in bold and do some other editing like changing the alignment of the text. Okay, so once we have our summary done, we could go ahead and do a description. Now the description is a bit longer. You want to go into more details in the description and give as much information on the product as possible. This will show up at the bottom of your single product page, just below the images and the add to cart and buy now button. Okay, so I went ahead and added in a description. Now we can also bold and unbold certain sections just like before, and we can also access something called the full editor by clicking full editor right here, and you'll see a full panel opens up, and there are some additional things that we could do here. So we do have something called adding blocks, and if we click add new right here, then you'll see where we can add in an image. For example, we could choose to upload one or add one from our media library. So I will just choose from our media library, and I will select an image and then upload it. So we can see the image just below the original text that we would have added. Now, if we want to change the size of the image, you'll see something on the left hand side here. So if you see auto, that means there's nothing in the box. So we could put something in here. We don't want to put something that will distort the size of the image. So we could leave one side clear and then edit on one end, right? So let's say we want to change the size from 500 px, which is pixels, to 50. Then this is what the image size would look like. Now we could change this. We could put it to maybe 150 instead, and this might be more appropriate. You will also see some additional options on the floating editor bar. So for example, we could change the tone. We do have the option to also replace the image. So we can click replace and change. We could either upload or open the media library and select another image that has already been uploaded to the site. So there are some other blocks that we can add in. You'll see paragraph, gallery, which is a gallery of images, a list if we'd like, and you see some list items here, and an example of what it'll look like if we add some items to the list. We could even select the text and change the size. We can also custom change the size, or we could just use the default options as mentioned before. There are some additional typography settings like the letter case, the spacing, the appearance, and again the size. So like for example, if we change the appearance, then we could see that we could choose black, extra bold, italic. So maybe we want to put this in black and really bold, then we can do that. Awesome. Once we are done here, we can actually click done, and those will be updated and added to the description here, and you can see all the changes that we made showing up. So once we are done, we could go down to add in the actual product images. So we can choose image with the button on the right hand side here by just clicking it, and we could select an image that we want to use for the product image. So we'll select this image and click select for it to be uploaded. And one thing you'll notice is this is the cover image. So if we upload another image, so this is our second image, then you realize that this one still says cover. So if we select this image, we can set this one as the cover. The cover is the image that you will see for the product the first time you view it, whether you're on the home page and it's showing up on the home page, or on the product page, or anywhere else. Even if you open up the single product page itself, then the first product they'll see is the cover image, and then they can always scroll through and see the other images that we would have added here. So I'll set this one back as a cover and move on to the next step. Now, before we move on, there's one thing I want to touch on, and you'll see that this is a standard product or simple product. Now, we could change the product type from here, and you'll see group product, you'll see affiliate product, and those will be talked about in another tutorial video. But just to show you where the option is, it's right on the top of the first section of adding a product. So it's always good to either publish or save as a draft. So we will save the product as a draft. It will say product saved as draft right on the bottom left here, so we know that it has updated. And you'll even notice some additional things like a product link right here, and we could always choose to preview the product at any point in time. It'll take you straight to the actual product page where you can see the changes and the editing that you're making actually showing up on the front end. So what we can do is actually go across to variations. So just as it states here, variations is an option to add different or multiple variations of the same product. So for example, having different sizes or color of one jersey that's on sale. Now, we won't touch on variation products in this tutorial, but you will be able to look at our other tutorial on variation products to see how to add this. So the next menu that we'll actually go into is the organization menu. Now, in the organization menu, the first thing you will see is the categories. So we always want to categorize our products. So for example, we can go into categories, and if there are any created already, then they will show up here. Right now we only see uncategorized, and that's the default category. So we can click create new, and we can name the actual category here. So let's put in something. Now you'll see where we put in demo category, and there's also an option for a parent category. So we can create subcategories from here. So right now the only category that is created is uncategorized. So we can add demo category to uncategorized, but that doesn't make sense in most cases. So if we would add a new category called demo category, or let's say jerseys, a subcategory of a top or a jersey would be a tank top or a long sleeve. So a long sleeve or tank top can be subcategories of tops. So we can actually go ahead and create this category. It'll take a second and then it will save. And then if we re-click the category section, then we'll see that there is demo category and also uncategorized. So if we remove demo category and uncategorized and then click back inside, then we will see both of them showing up here. So we could just add it to demo category. Now if we do click on categorize, then just like we would have just seen, we can click the X and remove it. Now there are some additional options that you may want to play around with. You can hide the product from the catalog so that it doesn't show up on the shop page. You can also hide it from the search results so that it can only be seen on the shop page itself, or if you actually show the product on the home page as a featured product. So one example of why you'll add a product or hide it from the search results is to control which products actually show up on the search results. So maybe you don't want certain lower end or cheaper products to show up and you want to really market the higher cost ones to make sure you're maximizing on the profit. Then you will remove the lower end cheaper products from actually being searched. Okay, so another thing that we can categorize by is tags. And tags are there to stop us from having too many categories, because we also don't want to have too many categories. So for tops, you may not want to have a category for every single product type. So what you might want to do is add a tag to say cotton or 100% polyester, stretchy. Those are some examples, or elastic. And it works the same way as categories. You can just select here, create a new tag, and name it. So let's say we want to name this one demo tag. We can type that in and then click save, and it'll be added as a tag to this product right here. And we can add more if you like to. Maybe it's 50% polyester and 50% elastic. Then that's something that we can do. Now, on another note of having attributes defined, an attribute would be a color or size. Let's say that you have a product on sale and maybe it's a red top, but there aren't any variations. Then you may want to still let them know what the details of the product are in one table. So we can click add new, and we can add some attributes, right? So if there are any attributes already created, and you'll see a menu option here for attributes. And also to note, you'll see one for tags and categories as well, which will have their own tutorial videos. You can create something called global categories, tags, or attributes. So if you go on a product and you create a global category as color, then anybody could search color on the front end of the website, for example, and any product across the board in this attribute will show up, as well as being able to automatically select that here, and the attribute items like maybe blue or green, that's an item of an attribute, does not have to be redefined every single time. Now again, there is some more things to think about when adding attributes, which we'll talk about later. But let's say we want to put color and create color, then this won't show up on another product if we open it and try to add a new product to editor on another product. Only this product will have this attribute because it's not created as a global attribute. So we can put the color is red. And one of the things that you'll also note is that unlike variations where you might have red, green, and blue, just to reiterate, then you might only really want to add one color for this because it's the only color. We can also add another attribute and call it material. So we can click create and add the material, and we can put in something like 100% cotton, and again we could create it. Now once we are done, we can add that, and we do have these two options here. Now you can always hover over any of these and you'll see that it says custom attributes, so customers can filter or search by it. Just like we mentioned before, the filtration section on the shop page of the website only works with global attributes or categories. So these won't be able to be used to search. They also see visible in the product details. So what that means is that on the bottom of the single product page, you'll see a section saying description, and next it will say additional information, and this will show up here almost just like the layout here, where it'll say color on the left hand side and then red, material on the left, and then 100% cotton on the right. You would also be able to use this, for example, if you have an electronics store and you have products with different specs, let's say a laptop, then once you're on the compare page, the attributes is where they will be seeing the comparison between. Okay, so once we are done here, we can move on to the next section, which is pricing. So just click pricing and you'll see two things, the list price and the sales price. So let's say we want to sell this demo product for $250, then on the front end of the website, the product will be listed at $250. Now we can also run a sale on it and maybe put it for $210 on sale for this particular month, and it'll be on sale until you take this off. Now there is an extra option to schedule in a sale, which is pretty useful if you don't want to keep track of the sales that you are running and you want to predefine them. So if we click schedule sale, we can select the from and the to date. So if we select from, then we can set the actual sale to start, let's say today, Saturday 1st of June. And if we want to put the to or end date, then we can select to, and maybe we just want to run this up until next week Saturday, so it's a 1 week sale, then we can do that, and it will show that the sale is ending or how much time left in the sale on the front end. And this is an option, and this is if you wanted to add the option to the site, of course. If not, then that won't show. But in either case, the sale will apply for this period of time, and once the date is reached, then it will automatically be taken off. So once we are done here, we can actually move across to the inventory section. So some things to keep in mind: stock keeping unit, the SKU. So the stock keeping unit is a unique identifier for a product, and this is something that you should start using in your business in general, but definitely on the website. Some of the reasons would be that, one of the reasons I should say would be that product names, especially if you have a larger inventory of products, can become the same. So for example, we might have a black t-shirt and we might have another product called black t-shirt, for example, and this one might just be a bit different in design for it, maybe. So in that case, we want to make sure and have something. Now usually a random series of letters or numbers is pretty fine. You can use dashes as well, so we can put in something like, and it says BTS1, so black t-shirt 1, and then you can always put black t-shirts 2. Now another thing that you can do is just keep it random. So this is an example of a random series of numbers. Letters can also be in there, which actually makes them a bit easier to read and lowers the chances of you having a stock keeping unit that is the same as another one. So once we're finished with the stock keeping unit, we can actually choose to either track the inventory or put the stock status indefinitely. So right now, when it's selected here, it's just in stock. Now we could choose out of stock, we could choose on back order. So if we put it in stock, then it will always be in stock. If we put it out of stock, then it will show up as out of stock on the front end. Now if we put it on back order, then that means that the customer will see that the product is available for purchase, even though there isn't any stock right now. And like if you know you're ordering the same products every single week and it's out of stock right now, then this might be a case where you would use it. Now another neat feature is to track the inventory. So if we click track inventory, then we can put the available stock amount right now. So let's say we have 15 products in stock, then we can set it as 15, and once an item is purchased, the stock will continue to drop. One of the cool features is, and this can actually instill FOMO, fear of missing out, or scarcity. So if they see that there was initially 15 and now we have 5, they may be more susceptible to actually making a purchase because they don't want to miss out on losing out on the product that they want. You'll see something like a purchase note as well that we can add here. And once they get the order confirmation message in their email, then this will be a note attached to the order. So maybe you want to note that the item is fragile, or maybe any additional information that you think would be necessary for them to know. You can add that here. Now in the advanced option, there is a couple of things that we can look at. So when out of stock, we can allow purchases. We could also allow purchases but notify the customer. So if we just allow purchases, then if it's out of stock, they won't really know that it is out of stock. It's just for you to know, and they can still make orders. Again, because you may be getting stock every single week and it wouldn't matter anyway, the delay of the delivery might just be the case. or we could put allow purchases but notify customers. So they'll see that it is out of stock, but they can still make the purchase one time, and then when the item is back in stock, you will ship it to them. Of course, we can also not allow purchases, and in this case, the item will just show up as out of stock. So let's just put allow purchases in this case and move on to the next section, which is email me when stock reaches a certain amount. So this is a low stock notification that will be sent to your admin email that we will set up and send over to you with the login details. So the default store-wide is 2, but we can change this. So let's say we want to put it as high. Then once the product reaches 5, it lets you know that the product is at 5 and that the stock is reaching a point that you should take notice of. Another thing that we can add in the advanced option is a one purchase restriction. So maybe there's a particular product that you're selling on a deal and you don't want somebody to buy more than one of, because you want to give it to as much persons as possible. Then you can set limit the purchases of the item to 1 per order. Now we leave it as is and move on to the next option, which is shipping. So in shipping, chances are that we have a custom shipping setup for you that doesn't actually take into consideration classes. But a class may be something like a particular size category. So maybe large products cost more to deliver, for example, or they need to do that it's a large package. And we can also set dimensions here as well. Now, in most cases, we can actually leave this blank, especially if doing these in Trinidad and Tobago, because most of the times the delivery costs are set per location or using a flat rate. So once we are finished with the shipping, we can actually go on to link products, and this is for upsells and cross sells, right? So you can see here an upsell would be a better quality of a product, so a higher version of a phone, for example. So you want to say customer, this is the device that you're purchasing right now, but this one is actually better, it has more storage, and maybe you want to take a look at this instead. So you can also just search the product and add it. Now a cross sell is something that would be complementary to a product. So maybe you buy toothpaste and you want to cross sell a toothbrush, or vice versa. Or maybe you're selling a phone and you want to cross sell a charger or a phone case for that phone. Now in this case, we leave this blank and touch on these more detail with another tutorial. So this is the last section of adding a basic, standard or simple product, however you want to note it as. From here, we want to click publish and click publish one more time, and the product is now published to the front end. So once you're at this stage, you can actually go right ahead and click view the product and see your new product come to life on the website itself, and ensure that everything is added the way that you would have expected. So that's it for this tutorial. You could always go onto the YouTube channel and look out for some more tutorials and some other things like the categories, tags, attributes, and anything else that be relevant to manage it in your online store. So that's it for now. Have a wonderful rest of the day. You can like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get notifications and when we update our tutorials. And we also will be adding some tips and trainings in terms of sales, promotions, and some other useful information on managing the store and running an online website in general.